Thank you for that report.
Meantime, with controversy surrounding Sarah Bloom Raskin's Fed nomination, her husband, Democrat Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, getting slapped with an ethics complaint over failing to properly disclose that $1.5 million in shares his wife received for working for a financial technology company.
To discuss is Republican strategist and former chair of the Massachusetts Republican Party, Jennifer Nassour. Also with us, former White House senior advisor Paul Chabot, as well as Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore. Panelists, welcome. Thanks for taking the time here. All right, here's part of a statement from Tom Jones. He's the founder of the American Accountability Foundation. He says this, quote, Sarah and Jamie Raskin are career politicians who've used the system to enrich themselves. Jennifer, your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. There's this thing called the Stock Act where the members of Congress cannot profit from their tradings.
Erin, too, when you just think about how Americans view their top concerns, the economy and inflation always tend to be at the top. How does that play into this nominee's priorities when it comes to addressing climate change and also perhaps decreasing investments in oil and gas?
The average American would see these people as very out of touch, the Raskins. And I think whether it's Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Dianne Feinstein, we have seen these politicians get rich in Washington. You can add the Clintons to that list as well. So we're at home working our 9-to-5 jobs, taking care of our families, barely scraping by with these gas prices and the empty shelves. And these people in Washington are trading on inside information to get very, very rich. It doesn't seem how a democracy should function. Why is this happening in the United States of America? We see our great nation and our capital with fences around it, and we say to ourselves, why are they living a different life than we are? And it's really unfair. And hopefully this woman will not get nominated, Ms. Raskin, because she's not the right person for the job. And there is definitely an air of corruption afoot.
Yeah, you've seen Senator Kennedy and others hit back on this. And really, I think this story just in general is getting a lot more exposure at this point. It is being asked. Congressional members are being asked about it. And it's a lot to talk about. So stick around.
Yeah, still ahead. Multiple blue rate has decreased by 65%. 6-star Omicron peak. Our hospitalizations have stabilized across the state. Our statewide indoor mask requirement will expire on February 15th. Again, this ends after the Super Bowl for their state. So we'll be watching to see how many people follow the mask requirement at the big game. But Erin, he's not talking about school children as well. Are those individuals forgotten about in this mask mandate lift?
Of course they are. And the only facial decoration our children should see are their smiles. Our children should not be political pawns in these blue states. We see that speech therapy requests are up by something like 300%. These children aren't learning properly. They're not learning how to understand facial cues and smiles and just a way to properly build and form relationships as you grow and mature. Our children should not be Governor Newsom's pawns. And you see him at the game there with Magic saying, I only took my mask off for a second and to drink water. And we know that's a lie. We saw him last year at the French Laundry dining inside in a large group while none of us were allowed to go out to eat. Do as I say and not as I do in California. And that's why so many people are fleeing to free red states. Welcome to the party, blue states. This is how we've been living in Texas and Florida for almost 2 years. And our children are better for it. Enough with using our children as political pawns. No mandates for vaccines or masks.
Still no update yet on New York or New York City. Awaiting that.
They're not watching CNN. They're watching complaints about CNN on other channels that don't know what they're talking about. Our leader this week.
We were just talking about the CNN doctor who made an appearance, her back and forth on mask recommendation for kids. Anyway, that was Reliable Sources anchor Brian Stelter defending CNN after a growing fallout over the resignation of President Jeff Zucker.
Yeah, we'll bring our panelists back in for rapid reactions here. Jennifer Nassour, Paul Chabot, Erin Elmore. Paul Chabot, again, the thing that the chief media correspondent there, Brian Stelter, did not do is address the reasoning as to why he did not report on the one thing that he does report on, which is what is happening within the media and this reported open secret of the relationship between Zucker and the other staffer at the network. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was juvenile and sad to watch him. I grew up as a child watching CNN when there was no other option of national cable at the time.
Only disagree with CNN calling itself the most trusted name in news. Only 10% agree. The same poll also found 58% of Americans thinks that Zucker's resignation from CNN won't make much of a difference. 18% say it's good. Expectations for the cable news network.
Well, the ratings don't lie and these poll numbers don't lie. So the truth is in the data and the statistics. Brian Seltzer can continue to try to gaslight their viewers, but it's not going to work. And by the way, we talked a little about the Cuomo's inappropriate behavior. There was also allegations, serious allegations of some of the staffers at CNN engaging in inappropriate conduct, perhaps online and with children. So that this doesn't just stop at the top levels at CNN. It's rotten from the inside out. And the numbers tell the truth. Sorry, Brian Seltzer, you're on an island by yourself.
All right, we're out of time on this segment. Jennifer, I apologize. Always a pleasure to hear from all of you. Jennifer Nassar, Paul Chabot, Erin Elmore, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate your time. A new